pile of nail polish? Bury the pile of nail polish. Hello, my children. Your father has brought you a swatching video.
Copyright.
We love 5/4 time.
If you think that I know the time signature of any song, you are wrong.
Comment below if you know the time signature of the Mission Impossible theme song. Well, I mean, now you know, so I think you have to comment.
Engagement farming!
Haha! Holo Taco just released their declassified 003 set containing 4 redacted polishes. If you're new to Holo Taco, this is something they've done for the last 2 years where they released polishes that were prototyped for collections but didn't ultimately make it to the final launch. And this is one of my favorite things that Holo Taco does because it feels like such a look behind the scenes of the polishes that they release throughout the year. So today I'm going to be swatching the new polishes, speculating about the collections they were cut from, comparing them to things in my collection, and testing out some of them over black. I do want to add Holo Taco also sent their recently released Holo Magnetic Taco, so I wanted to show that off as well in this video. And now that you've been briefed on this top secret mission, let's get into the swatches.
You did a really good job at not doing too much eyebrow.
You know I love moving my eyebrows.
Sometimes I think that they move autonomously.
The eyebrows are the eyebrows of the face.
The eyebrows are the nipples of the face.
Up first is Kelp. This is described as a deep teal jelly with multicolored iridescent flakes. And if you can't tell from the polish's name, this was cut from the Off the Deep End collection. That featured 6 different aquatic flaky jelly polishes in bright and vibrant colors, which I think is the reason why this one was set aside until declassified, as not only are there essentially 3 blue polishes in that collection, Kelp is significantly darker than the others in Off the Deep End. As for the application on the first coat, it was a touch uneven, but still had a nice wash of its black and teal base color. And I was surprised that it got to essentially full opacity in 2 coats, which is 1 less than I painted in the original Off the Deep End review video. I think this is because the overall darker base color helped it get to full opacity quicker. However, the sides of my nails needed a tiny bit more polish, so I went in with an extra swipe on the edges. However, that somehow managed to create a gaping hole in the center of my nail, as it must have dried just enough to get dragged by the brush on the final swipe. That said, somehow I can't see the crater on video, so I'm impressed by the flaky's ability to hide imperfections. Regardless, I fixed this by adding a dot of polish to fill the valley and then gently smoothed it out with the brush. So overall, this got to full opacity in what I would say 2.3 coats. Now that it's built up, I really love the base color. The flakies play really well with it, and it looks like there's a touch of hollow sparkle hiding in it as well. It honestly feels like it would have fit right into its original collection and potentially might have been one of my favorites. As for comparisons, like I said in the review of the Off the Deep End collection, this formula feels very Mooncat coated, as I feel like Mooncat really excels at the iridescent flaky jelly polishes, which could have been one of the reasons why it was cut, as it does look similar to Mooncat's Maelstrom, which was from an earlier spooky aquatic collection. However, I think it looks the most similar to Leave It To Me by Colores de Carol, as that has a similar dark teal base color and similar iridescent flakes. However, I think Kelp's flakes do lean more green, potentially looking more similar to some of the flakes in Wait a Minute, which was one of the polishes from Off the Deep End. Now, I don't think I'm upset that this was cut from Off the Deep End because I really like that whole collection. Well, minus the pink, but it didn't need 4 blues.
Yeah, because it definitely would have replaced the pink.
In my heart, it would have replaced the pink. But that's one of the reasons why I love the declassified concept so much. It really feels like little expansion packs to older collections, just giving us a taste of what could have been. And so I really like this one because it's such a nice flaky filled jelly with a touch of Lost at Sea that makes my inner whaler's widow feel joy for the first time, since she lost her husband in that freak whaling accident. So I'm gonna give this 5 therapy apps for fish named Better Kelp out of 5. Better Kelp?
Yeah, I got it. You don't need to explain the joke, Diva.
Unlike the whaler joke.
Well, that wasn't a joke.
Yes, it was. I think it was funny.
That was like a weird soliloquy that belonged in Swept Away.
Oh, I loved that show. And moving along, we finally have a creme from Holo Taco. Well wishes. This is described as a muted gray periwinkle creme, and this was cut from the cottagecore collection, which was the bane of my existence, specifically because I really do not love Garden Party Taco. Regardless, I don't really have a good hypothesis of why this was cut, besides that there was maybe already one darker color in the lineup with touch grass. As for application, this applied really evenly and self-leveled quite well. Oh my goodness. I think you're right.
It's like a one coater.
It's like a one coater. And this is why I hate Krellies. I thought that there was maybe a touch of a thin spot near the side of my nail, so I painted a second coat. However, that really felt like a formality, as upon watching this footage, it doesn't look like much changed. Now, the first thing I thought of was Peri-Social, as that is also a periwinkle creme by Holo Taco. However, when side by side, Well Wishes is darker, more muted, and potentially slightly cooler as well. Personally, I loved Peri-Social, but now that I have Well Wishes, I think I like this more. However, if I were to purchase these, I probably would not have picked up both, as their difference is so subtle that it wouldn't be worth it to me. Now, I did also put it in a lineup of other similar cremes in my collection. Some of the polishes that I first thought of, like Bep Bep Blue or Wild Child, are far more dissimilar than I initially thought, to the point where the closest is probably still Peri-Social, but Well Wishes does sort of act like a transition shade between Peri-Social and Wild Child. Now, this is one of the polishes that I wish had not been cut, as not only does it fit the vibe of muted pastels from the original collection, but it also has stellar coverage like the others in cottagecore. Which is why this polish really solidified my disdain for Krellies, as this is the kind of coverage that I want for my solid colors. And I've said it before, but I really think that Holo Taco has really nailed their creme formula over the years, which is why I'm thrilled to see another creme, as I honestly can't think of the last creme drop besides the cottagecore collection. Please correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. However, I can't really give this perfect marks, as it is a little too similar to Peri-Social. So I'm gonna give this 4.91 million out of 5.
I'm lost.
I was doing a Dr. Evil reference.
Well, but I don't understand how that connects at all to, like, purple or Well Wishes. Like,
honestly,
it's a spy reference. Sure.
I don't know either. And next up, we have Cool Ranch flavored Doritos. This polish is described as a mauve brown jelly with iridescent cyan blue micro shimmer. Editor Nick here. I realized I forgot to tell a story that was relevant. So my father is an interesting chef.
Your brother's gonna watch this.
Hi family, love you. And sometimes he just like makes things work, even if it shouldn't. And one core memory that I have of his cooking is he said that he made some kind of pasta with Alfredo in it, and I took a happy bite, so excited for some cheesy, yummy goodness, and it tasted weird. And I was like, Dad, why does it taste like this? And he's like, oh, we were all out of Alfredo, so I decided to use ranch instead. And that's why I don't like ranch, except the Doritos. I do like the Doritos. Cool Ranch, this is relevant. Anyways, back to the video. This polish was cut from the Disco Cowboy collection, which was a chaotic lineup of 5 different formula polishes. Specifically, Cool Ranch lost out to Moonlit Rodeo, as I think the color palette was interesting enough that it didn't need a browny, purpley blue shimmer polish as well. As for the application, the first coat was a very even wash of the base mauvey brown color with a nice touch of hollow and a bright blue shimmer. If I was a person who liked seeing visible nail line, I might even like this in one coat, as it was so even. However, I hate knowing that I have actual nails and not pops of color at the ends of my fingers, so I was hoping that this could build up to full opacity. On the second coat, I was starting to get a little nervous, as there was still a fair amount of visible nail line and the tips of the nail did not look painted at all. However, the third coat fully got rid of the visible nail line, which I was not expecting. The tips of the nail, however, were still too thin and didn't look great. That said, the rest of the nail looked so interesting. Like, this brown mauve is just so weird and I love it so much. The closest thing I can think of to describe this color is moldy grape jam, and I never knew I wanted it on my nails until I saw this polish. Plus, the cyan shimmer is super bright and packed in by the third coat that it adds a flash of blue at unexpected times. And I think that the hollow sparkle is a nice touch, as it gives even more interest when the shimmer is not activated. As for comparisons, these are rough. I think overall this brownie mauve is really unique in my collection, and I don't have anything like it. The closest is probably Apocalypse Polish's 28 Shades Later, however it's more berry leaning and the shimmer is more blue-green multichrome instead of bright cyan. Now I did grab Phantom Call as it felt it had a similar formula but was the purple and gold equivalent, but honestly, Moonlit Rodeo has the closest formula match, which ultimately makes sense. Now this polish excites me because it's just so freaking weird. Like weird in a good way, not like why do you collect all of your toenails kind of weird. I feel like Holo Taco has been in such a samey mood, and while I like the other polishes in this drop, they're still very blue heavy, like 90% of Holo Taco's catalog.
I can't wait for some Holo Taco fanboy to be like, it's not 90%!
No. That was an exaggeration, but I am genuinely curious what the percentage of polishes that they have are blue. Someone let me know in the comments below. Anyways, the only problem that I had with this polish were slight coverage issues at the tip of my nail. So I would suggest either a blurring base coat or applying a little bit of extra polish on the tips of the nail each coat, just to help prevent that. Regardless, this is going to get 4.5 Super Spy Doritos out of 5. And last up we have Waterworks. This is described as having turquoise blue hollow glitters in an aqua teal jelly base. And interestingly enough, this was cut from the 2024 Shimmering Secrets collection. This is the first time a declassified set included something that was not released this year, but I honestly hope to see something like this again, as there are several other older collections I'd love to see revisited. My picks would probably either be the Frosted Metal collection or the original Unicorn Skin or Shimmers collection, because I just want to see more toppers from Holo Taco. Now I literally have no idea why this one wasn't included in its original collection, however it does feel like the love child of Teal No Lies and Inside Job. It has a similar deep teal color, but also has the chunky glitters of Inside Job minus the square glitters. This is written so poorly. This sentence is written so poorly. Wait, I should read it to them exactly as it's written. As for the application and the first coat, it applied fairly evenly and allowed me to see all of the sizes of glitters that are here. Wow, glitters.
You're such a cunning linguist.
I think there's maybe 3 glitters in here, 2 of them hollow glitters with one being blue, and then the third glitter is larger, matte, and dark blue. And looking at this up close, it makes me regret not wearing a peel-off base coat because I can already tell now how horrible this will be to remove. Now, one thing I was struggling with while painting this was getting full coverage on the tip of my nail. I'm not sure if it was too cold while filming or I was rushing, but I really struggled to cover the edge even by the time I got to the third coat. Which, speaking of, the center of the nail had pretty decent coverage on the second coat. However, I would recommend 3 as it gains so much depth and complexity that was lacking in 2 coats. I think the darker color jelly ultimately allowed the holo to shine so much more, while also tinting all of the glitters into this deep and luxurious turquoise. Turquoise, some might say. However, I still really wasn't satisfied with the tip of my nail, so I did go in off camera and apply just a little bit of polish to fix the edge before the whole hand shots. As for comparisons, I think the closest color is potentially Bluebird Lacquer's So Very Good. However, that is a hair, pun intended, brighter. Now, formula-wise, I think this feels more like Holo Taco's OG Chunky Glitter formula, as it looks very similar to Midnight Spark. Surprisingly, I like this one too. There's something about the deep, rich turquoise color and the complex array of hollow sparkle that's just really speaking to me. And it's probably saying, you should have worn a peel-off base coat. Wait, I can give him a tongue too. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. So as of now, before struggling to remove this, I'm gonna give this 4 tears running down my thighs dance break out of 5. And last up today is Holo Magnetic Taco. This is a silver holographic magnetic topper. And while this was not part of the declassified collection, it was released recently, and so I wanted to include it. And now I painted this first cat eye style over black, and as expected, it formed a silver stripe on the nail. But what was interesting was how much stuff there was on the nail where the magnetic pigment wasn't doing its thing. As not only did it cover the base color more than I expected, it seemed like the holo was everywhere on the nail. This leads me to believe that this could be a holographic pigment and a separate silver magnetic pigment mixed together. And specifically, it feels very similar to Holo Taco's recent Magnetic Taco that was released with the Anniversary Vacation collection, but that is purely speculative. I did also want to test this velvet style as well, however, I'm a little embarrassed by how poorly this came out. My first problem was that I put way too much polish on the brush while painting it, making it look less like a topper and more like painting silver linear holo over black. But additionally, the black paint got picked up during later swipes, creating a garbage heap of regret closer to the cuticle. And even further, I am not an expert at aura style like my husband is, so I globbed so much paint on the sides of my nail. And when I tried to clean it up off camera, it freed up some magnetic pigment to no longer be magnetized, creating a random flash on the side of the nail. But I said screw it and put a top coat on anyways cause this video is rushed. Like, quick sidebar, this polish arrived yesterday, it's currently 10 p.m. tonight, and it launches tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning. So apologies for getting this video out late, but I do have a very time-consuming full-time job, so this video is going to come out when it comes out. As for comparisons, I first wanted to put it next to Holo Taco's Magnetic Taco, and the silver magnetic pigment looks super similar, providing more evidence for my theory. But I do have two other silver holographic magnetic toppers, those being Cracked Polish's Holographic Garbage and Cirque's Starry Eyed. After a quick paint of magnetic elixir, it looks like my two other magnetic holo toppers are more similar to each other than they are to the new one, as once again it looks like Holo Magnetic Taco is a Holo Taco and a Magnetic Taco combined, as there's just so much stuff all over the swatch. Now I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite here because I plead Holo Taco to add more toppers to their permanent lineup, but I don't really love this one. I think the pigments are a little too packed in and maybe a little too large that it hides the base color more than I want it to. That said, I firmly believe that I manifested this polish, as I did say that I wanted Magnetic Taco to have a touch of Holo Sparkle in it. However, I believe I was trying to manifest a touch of Holo Sparkle when this is a little bit more like a curb stomp of Holo Sparkle. Regardless, this is going to get a 3.5. I can't think of anything here because it is 10-11 at night out of 5.
10-12 actually.
And here is the full set altogether. As expected, it isn't the most cohesive group as everything is a reject from another collection. However, in comparison to the other declassified sets, this is the most single color set we've gotten, as blue is the predominant force here. Which is not shocking, as the data shows every year how much Holo Taco customers love blue and purple. And that's why I think we ended up with 2 blues and 2 purpley blues. Regardless, I do still like them, and this is one of my favorite drops from Holo Taco this year, as they're really pretty colors and nothing is limited edition. And the last thing I wanted to do is test these polishes out over black to see their topper potential. Seek Kelp and Waterworks look absolutely stunning over black, as Seek Kelp just feels like an aquatic iridescent flake topper, and Waterworks, while a little too dense to be a good topper, is a nice blue hollow glitter topper. I was honestly surprised that Cool Ranch underperformed over black, as the mauve base color showed more than expected, creating some patchiness over the black swatch. And before we wrap things up, it's time for the WOMO. Whoa, whoa, WOMO, whoa, whoa, WOMO, whoa, whoa, WOMO, whoa, whoa, WOMO. No, you're supposed to say what's on my other hand. Today I'm trying very hard not to connect with people right now by Red Eyed Lacquer. This looks like a gray hollow flake polish that fulfills my rainbow cement fantasies, and I love it so much. I picked this up from the November PPU, and I also bought several other polishes recently, so be on the lookout for a Holo Day video coming soon.
Holiday.
Oh wait, Hall.
We're not doing this again.
Holiday.
This is not the hull of a ship.
Arg, matey, I'm lost at sea. So now that you've seen everything, let me know what you think. Do these polishes leave you feeling like Totally Spies, or are they more like Spy Kids 3D Game Over? And quick reminder, if you're interested in supporting us, you can join as a channel member, so check out the link in the description below. Thank you to my Titan Wranglers, but an extra special shout out to the members of the Silver Spurs Club. Love you. As I said, my full-time job is a lot, so even though I don't get to respond to every comment, I do read every single one. And sometimes when my job is a lot, being able to see your comments just fill me with so much joy. I love hearing when I bring joy, because sometimes I need to hear that. Every little comment makes my heart really happy, especially when people write essays. I love when we have a multi-paragraph essay comment, because I'm just like, I know you put the time into it, and it makes me so happy. Thank you, I really appreciate it. Anyways, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! I must, in future, remember not to be Imbibing hot beverages when watching your
Oh
swatches.
no.
Coffee jettisoned at high pressure from my poor abused nostrils
No!
is not pleasurable.